start with the one simple example so that you will get an idea about the cloud computing. Let us say that you want to go from one place to another. Okay, you want to travel from one place to another in a car. Is it that mean that you need to have your own car? No, right? So you can rent a car, right? So you can rent a car and you can go from anywhere, and you just pay for the how much distance which you have traveled, right? So the model which we are following here, it is a pay as you go model. So that means you don't own the resource. In the sense, the resource here is nothing but car. You don't own the resource, right? Somebody else is owning the resource, but you are using that resource on a rental basis. So now this has maybe many advantages, right? So you don't have to invest money on maybe buying the car, right? So even though maybe today everyone is affordable for effort for this car, but maybe 20 years back it is not like that, right? So you don't need to invest money on the car, right? So whenever you want to travel from one place to another, you just rent a car, right? Then you just pay for the usage, the distance which you have traveled, and also based on the type of a car which you have used, right? So based on the car and the distance traveled, so for that you need to pay the money. The same scenario is applicable for our daily utilities also. All right. So now let us look at some of the daily utilities. Maybe first one is with respect to water. All right. So water is one of the daily utilities. So is it that mean that every house should have maybe their own well? So that is not necessary, right? So you don't need to have your own well. Suppose if you want to have your own well, that means you have to construct a well. It may cost 3 to 5 lakhs. All right. But nowadays in apartment and all, what happens? All right. So there is a maybe the government will supply the water and you just pay for the usage. So here also the idea is the same thing, right? So there is no infrastructure cost. All right, you just pay for the usage, right? How much liter you have consumed per month, and for that you are paying the money. Similarly, other example, maybe like electricity, right? So nowadays every house has electricity. Is it mean that maybe you should have every house has their own power plant and where they have to generate electricity and all? No, so that is not required, right? Somewhere that electricity is generated, right? So and you are using that electricity and you just paying for the usage, right? So based on the unit which you have consumed, right, for that you are paying. Otherwise you just think for how much investment you have to make, right? Every house, right? So maybe power plant or whatever maybe the investment for the generator, whatever it may be. So here also the idea is same thing, right? You don't invest for the infrastructures, right? Infrastructure is offered by somebody else and you just use those resources which are offered by the third party, right? So based on the pay as you go model. And similarly maybe other utilities also you can consider, maybe like gas also, right? So nowadays maybe in the metropolitan cities and all, right? So the gas will be provided through the tap, right? You just pay for how much amount which you have consumed, and for that you are paying. And the last one for maybe for another example is with respect to the telephone. All right. So here also you don't own the infrastructures, right? So that maybe telecom provider will have their own network, right? It may be BSNL or Geo or whatever it may be. They have the network, right? And you are using their network to communicate from one person with the another. So if you look at all these four examples, okay, what are the things which you need to consider is that one is a end user. So end user who need some service or who need some resources, but the resources he is not buying that resource. He is not buying resource, because there may be a lot of investment involved. So in that case, what we do, there may be some provider, so that provider will offering these services. The provider will offering these services, and you use those services. You are going to use those services, and you just pay for the usage. So now, what are the advantages of this one for all the four utilities which we have considered, and also maybe one example which we have taken with respect to the car rental service. All right. So there is no initial investment. There is no initial investment. And the second one is with respect to maybe in any example. Now let's say that you take an example of electricity. All right. So how much ever the units you want, you can use. There is no restriction that maybe 1 month you have to use only this much unit, 100 units or 200 unit or whatever it may be. So based on the requirement, right? Maybe some month you may consume more units, or some month you may consume the less units. So that is maybe it is idea of what is called as a maybe idea of scaling. And also with respect to the electricity, when you consider the electricity and the water and all, you don't know where exactly that the resources come from, right? The electricity which may be from any one of the power plant, and even though if you consider an example of water supply, right? So that water may come from any places. Okay, you are not bothered about where exactly that resource comes, but resources are delivered on premises, and you just use those resources. Okay. Now, what is the cloud computing? Now, the same idea, all right? The same idea of the daily utilities, which are using it for the IT. The same idea, all right? The same idea which we have used for the daily utilities. It is which is applied in the IT resources. So now you can see in this example, right? So maybe three people are maybe using computing resources, right? That resources are provided from somewhere else. So that is represented what is called as a cloud. So that is represented what is called as a cloud, all right? So each may require different computing resources. Okay, these resources may be a hardware resource or it may be software resource. And all these resources are available in somewhere else. It is not located in on-premise, and he is using that resource. Now for this, what is required? One main thing required is that internet connectivity. You need internet connectivity and one thin client. Okay, the thin client maybe with the browser, where you will be able to connect to connected to the server. All right. So with this thin client, he can connect to the cloud, and he can use whatever the resources he want, and he just pay for the usage. You don't need to invest a lot of money for the resources. Okay, now what exactly that the symbol, cloud symbol, which is shown in the picture? What is this cloud symbol? So this cloud symbol is nothing but it is thousands of servers. So the thousands of servers which is located across the globe, and so these servers are offering the services. All right, and these servers are managed by cloud providers. So these are managed by the cloud providers, and they are going to offer the resources to the client, offer the resources to the client based on the pay as you go model. Okay, so next is about objectives. So what is the objective of this course? So what and all you study, right? Yes, to learn fundamental concepts and various delivery and deployment model in cloud computing. So what are the, as I mentioned, what are the different delivery models and deployment models? The second objective is to understand the demand and need based allocation of resources to the application running in cloud. For example, when an application is running in the cloud, right, the resource required for that application may vary over a period of time. Right, based on the requirement, maybe you need to apply a right amount of resources. Now, how we are going to allocate a right amount of resources? The third objective is to familiarize is with the role of virtualization layer. So that is various type of virtualization technique. So here you learn about, you should be able to understand what is virtualization, how that resources are virtualized. And the fourth objective is, yes, how the cloud resources can be secured from the unauthorized access. Yeah, this is a expected outcome at the end of the course. All right. So you should be able to demonstrate the understanding of fundamental concepts in cloud computing. So the basic concept you should be able to explain. The second one, analyze and compare various resource management techniques in cloud computing. As I mentioned, the cloud, the end users get the resources from the cloud. So how the resources are managed? How the resources are managed? Third one, describe compute, storage, and a network virtualization techniques in cloud computing. As I mentioned, the basic technology for realizing this cloud computing is the virtualization. So you will understand how the resources are virtualized. That is compute virtualization, storage virtualization, network virtualization. And last one is, so identify and analyze various security threats and mitigations in cloud computing. Yeah, this is a abstract of this cloud computing course. As I mentioned, we start with the basics of cloud computing. So what is cloud computing, the different delivery and deployment model. And we also look into some of the pioneer in cloud computing like Amazon, Google, Microsoft Azure. Then we look at the resource management techniques. So what are the different resource management techniques in cloud? And also followed by the various virtualization techniques. Then, yeah, then security related issue. And finally with the some of the tools to set up a private cloud. And also we look at the cloud SIEM. These are all the detailed syllabus. Correct. So we start with the introduction, then resource management, then virtualization, cloud security, and the last one is with respect to the cloud tools. Let us start with the definition of cloud computing. So this is the definition given by NIST. So what is cloud computing? Yes, it is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources. So these resources may be network, servers, storage, application, and services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with the minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So this is a model. So this model is compared with the other utilities which we use like water, electricity, etc. Right. So it is a model. How exactly that resources are offered? It is based on the pay-as-you-go model, and which is on demand, right? So whenever you are required, you can use those resources, and ubiquitous. It is everywhere, right? Okay, the textbooks which can be referred for this course. First one is Cloud Computing Theory and Practice. So Dan C. Marinescu. And you can also refer the textbook written by Rajkumar Buya. So that is Mastering Cloud Computing. And there are many other books and online materials also available. You can refer any material for this. There is a lot of material available for cloud computing. You can use those materials. Yeah, the same point which is mentioned with the in the definition of cloud computing is elaborated here. So that is as a characteristics of cloud computing. Okay, so what are the characteristics? So that is on-demand self-service, broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and measured service. So first one is what is on-demand self-service? What do you mean by that? Enable computing resources as and when require. So enable computing resource as and when require. Whenever you want, you can immediately use those resources. That is on demand. Now let us say that you want to perform some maybe high-end computation. All right, you don't have the required resource. Okay, maybe your the resources in your laptop is very limited. Maybe assume that maybe you have only 4 GB RAM and maybe quad core process. Okay, maybe you need high computing resource. All right. So there are cloud providers. Okay, one of the pioneer in the cloud computing is Amazon, right? So they have the portal. You can directly connect it to the that portal, and you can use those resources. They are providing these computing resources in the form of what is called as a virtual machine, right? So that virtual machine has the required computing capability. Maybe you may want 16 GB RAM and 16 quad core processors. So that will be offered to the end user, right? Only thing is you just have to pay for the usage, right? So normally this Amazon, maybe the payment model is based on the is a hourly basis. So there are other model also. We look into that other models in the later classes. Yes. So on-demand self-service in the sense enable computing resource as and when required. After 1 hour, if you don't want, yes, you can release that resource, right? And you don't pay for entire day. You just pay for the usage. You just pay for 1 hour. 1 hour I have used a computing resource. I'm paying for 1 hour. Yes. No requirement of human interaction. No requirement of human interaction. So there is a yes user interface which is provided by the cloud provider. You go to that user interface, you just specify what is the computing resources are required, and that will be offered that you can use it directly. So there is no human interaction. It is not like you just require request for one person, you provide computing resource, not like that, right? You just specify. Normally this Amazon and all, they offer the resources in terms of that different the templates. You just select the template, right? So that the template has got a different specification, right? The templates are something like this, maybe small, maybe medium, extra large, large, etc. And each refers to the different resource requirement. Maybe small, maybe which maybe refers to maybe 4 GB and maybe quad core process, maybe medium in the sense maybe 8 GB and so on. Okay, which facilitate the consumer to leverage ready to use services or enables to choose required services from the service catalog, as I mentioned. So there are different service catalog. You just select a catalog, all right? Allows provisioning of resources using self-service interface. As I mentioned, they provide an interface. Using that interface, you can access that resources. Yes, so that is what is called as a on-demand. So cloud service, the cloud resources are offered on demand. So as and when required, you can use that resource. Okay, then second one, broad network access. Cloud services are accessed via the network such as internet. Yes, cloud resources are accessed from the internet only. So you need a internet. And it can be accessed from any one of the end devices. Okay, or the what is called as a client devices. What are the client devices? It may be you can access it from the desktop computer, or it can be accessed from the laptop, tablet, workstation, thin client, and so on. Eliminate the need of access of services via particular client platform. It does not restrict that you should access the resources from only this particular platform. You can use any client devices to access the cloud resource. So because of that, it is available, it is accessible through the internet. It can be accessed across the globe. So that is what broad network access, broad network access. Okay, how exactly the resources are offered? So that is the resource pooling. IT resources are pooled to serve multiple customers. IT resources are pooled to serve multiple customers. So which is based on multi-tenant model. So now what exactly that a multi-tenant model refers to? It is an architecture and design by which multiple independent clients are serviced using single set of resources. In a cloud, a client could be a user or a user group or an organization or a company. See, virtualization is a key technology for enabling multi-tenancy in cloud. So it is something like this. Now let us say that there are two users. Two users are using the computing resources, okay, in the form of a virtual machine. In the form of virtual machine, there may be a possibility that those two user will be accessing the resource from the same user, same server. Same server in a sense, which is a high-end server, and that server resources are virtualized and which is offered to the end user in the form of virtual machines. But user thinks that he is working on separate machine, even though those resources are shared. So consumer has no knowledge of exact location of the resource, right? He may get the resources from any one of the server, and that may be located maybe across the globe. Yes, resources are dynamically assigned and reassigned based on the consumer demand. That's what. So based on dynamically, the resources can be assigned and reassigned. So that is what is called as a resource pooling. So that means there is a pool of resource, and from that resources only, from that resource pool only, the required resources are offered to the client. Okay, another important characteristics is the rapid elasticity. So what is that? Ability to scale IT resources rapidly as required to fulfill the changing needs without interruption of the services. Resources can be both scaled up and scaled down dynamically. So now let us say that you are hosting an business application, all right? So maybe some period of time, maybe the number of the clients for that application may be less, but over a period of time, okay, there may be more number of requests or more client for that application. In that case, the initially allocated resources may not be sufficient. In that case, yes, cloud, with the help of cloud, you can dynamically, you can scale up and scale down the resources. It is something like this. Now you consider a scenario of maybe a university website. All right. Normally, for the university website, the load will be very less, maybe most of the time, except maybe during maybe when the result is announced in that website. All right. At that time, there may be heavy load. In that case, what happens? Every user or all the students will not be able to access that particular site. So in that case, what can be done? So based on the load, the resources can be scaled up. It can be scaled up and down accordingly. Correct? Okay. So to the consumer, the cloud appears to be infinite. So the consumers can start with the minimal computing power and can expand their environment to any size. So based on the load, the resources can be expanded. So it can be scaled up and it can be scaled down. So there are different way for maybe scaled up and scaled down. Okay, so which is normally called as horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So horizontal scaling in the sense, suppose if you are using only one servers, right? Horizontal scaling in the sense, instead of having one servers, you just replicate that servers. Suppose if your application following MVC architectures, right? So model view controllers, right? Maybe where you have front end tier and then business logic and the backend is a database tier. Right, so based on the requirement, maybe you can increase the number of servers. So which is called as a horizontal scaling, which is horizontal scaling. Now, what is vertical scaling? Vertical scale up or scale down. Within the server itself, maybe you can increase the resource. So increasing the resource in the sense, maybe you can increase the size of the RAM or increasing the number of cores and so on. So that is a which is also called as a maybe different names also use scale out. Okay, last one is it is a measured service. Measured service. Yes, consumers build based on the metered usage of the cloud service. It is similar to other utilities, right? So based on how much the resources which you have used, you are paying only for the usage, right? You don't pay for maybe the initial investment and all. Yes, pricing is based on the different service level, as I mentioned, right? So which service you have used, right? Maybe if I take an example of car rental service, right? So you may use the different car. So based on the car, the prices will vary, uh, and also based on the yes, how much duration you have used the particular cloud resources. Yes, resource usage can be monitored, controlled, audited, and reported. Yes, how much you have used, right? Suppose if you don't have maybe enough money, you can monitor, okay, how much you have used. Provide transparency for both provider and consumer of the utilized service. All right, the consumer will come to know that how much I have used and how much it is charged. It's just like electricity, right? When you get electricity bill, you will get to know how much units we have consumed and how much unit for per what is the amount for per unit and so on. Okay, so as I mentioned, one of the key enabling technology for realizing this cloud computing is virtualization. One of the key enabler technology for realization of this cloud computing is virtualization. Now, what is virtualization? It is abstracting physical resources and making them appearing as a logical resources. So abstracting physical resource and making them appear as a logical resource. You can see the example, right? So here there are three physical servers. There are three physical servers, and each physical servers offered as a different virtual machines, where we can see that there are three different virtual machines, all right? And each virtual machine is offered to the different users. And the user who is using that virtual machine thinks that he is working on separate virtual machine, separate physical server, even though he is working on a virtual machines. He is having the feel of working on the physical server. Yes, it creates an abstraction level to hide the physical characteristics of the resources from the user. So physical machine appears as a multiple logical machines, each running as a OS concurrently, right? Each virtual machine can run a different virtual machine. So now what is the advantage of this virtualization? What is the benefit? Yes, optimization of utilization, reduction in cost, deployment time, increased flexibility, reduction in the cost in the sense what? Where you have maybe high-end server which is underutilized. You provide that physical server to number of users in the form of virtual machines, right? Okay, now this is the same thing once again explained, right? So whatever I have explained in term explained as cloud computing in terms of different characteristics. So to summarize this is cloud which uses internet technologies to offer scalable services, and resources used for these services are metered, and users are charged only for the resources which they have used. And in this case, maintenance and securities are managed by the cloud service providers. You don't need to worry about maintenance. data storage strategy can increase reliability as well as the security. Right? Maybe whenever you store the data, the data may be stored in a replicated manner, so that in case if the data stored in maybe one data center, if it is lost also, which is a in if one server in one of the data center, if it is crashed also, it is available in other server. So it will make sure that the data is always available. The resources such as CPU cycles, storage, network bandwidth, everything can be shared. So what is the main advantages? Yes, it eliminates the initial investment cost for private computing infrastructures and maintenance and operational cost. Alright, suppose if you want to have maybe the different examples I can give. Alright, maybe from the end users, maybe student perspective or researcher perspective, it is something like this. You want to do some researches where you need high-end computing and all. You don't need to invest a lot of money on the servers and all, right? So cloud itself, they provide high computing resources, right? You just pay for the usage. And similarly, if you want to start maybe a software company, all right, you don't need to invest a lot of money. All right, maybe initially you can start with the cloud resources. Then later, maybe if you the company get a lot of projects, then maybe you just think of maybe having your own infrastructure. Okay, so it results with the cost reduction. As I mentioned, the concentration of resources creates opportunity to pay as you go for computing, and which offers elasticity. You can ability to accommodate workload with the very large peak to average ratios, right? Based on the load, you just allocate the resource. So whenever there is no load on that application, you don't need to allocate that much resource. And user convenience. So virtualization allows the user to operate in a familiar environment rather than in idiosyncratic, in the sense maybe because of that virtualization which offers the resources in the form of virtualization. Each virtual machine you can install your own operating system. It will not restrict that it will work on only that particular operating system. Okay, now what are the different ways in which the cloud resources are delivered? Okay, the three main the delivery models are the software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Okay, now I think many of them have used software as a service. Can anyone give an example, software as a service? Okay, now what is the software as a service? Yes, applications are supplied by the service providers. So there is a ready software is available. Ready software is available. So the consumers are relieved of capital investment in servers, software licensing, upgrading, or maintaining software applications on their local systems. So normally, except this open source softwares, okay, nowadays everybody is moving towards open source softwares. Otherwise, the pirated softwares and all, you have to not pirated software. You need to buy the software, right? So buying the software, so there are licensing issue, and you have to install that software. All right. So there are many things are there. For example, maybe if you want to write one Word document, all right. So I'm sure that everybody has a laptop has MS Office. All right. I don't know whether it is a purchased one or it is a pirated one. So normally you need to purchase that is MS Office, right, in order to create any PPT or you want to create Word documents or Excel sheet, whatever it may be. But that involves maybe a lot of investment, right? You have to buy that software, all right? But that software is required only for creating few documents, only for the few days. Then why you want to invest money on software licensing and all, right? And if you look at an example of this MS Office, right? Maybe it is started in the 2007, then after that maybe 12, 16. Maybe every year that new version is they're releasing the new version, right? So there is a lot of investment, right, and licensing issues. Now instead of that, if software is directly available and you are just using that, and it is usage based on the pay as you go model. Yes, user does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructures or individual application capabilities. The software is available and you just pay for the usage. Right? Maybe this Gmail, Google Docs, those are all maybe kind of a software service, software as a service only. But for those you don't provide you don't pay for the usage. And other paid services are Microsoft Office 365. All right, so that is an example for the software as a service, right? They are providing the service is directly available and you are using that service and you just pay for the usage. You just pay for the usage. So that is an example for software as a service. So now there are many services are available. So that is an example of software as a service. That means Redis service is software is available over the net. You are using that software and you just pay for the usage and you don't bother about licensing, buying that software, licensing issue and upgrading and maintenance of software and so on. So that will be the headache of the service provider. So that is what is called as a software as a service. Okay, next is a platform as a service. Now, what do you mean by platform as a service? So provides a development environment and tools to create, develop, execute, test, and deploy new applications in the cloud. Let us say that you want to develop an application. Okay, to develop an application, you need a platform, right? Whether it may be, maybe you want to develop a Python based application, or it may be based on maybe a Java based application, or maybe based on Microsoft .NET based application. You need a platform, right? So you need a supporting tools and all. You don't want to bother about that installing softwares, all those things. Now that platform itself is provided as a service platform. Your focus is on what? You just develop the application. Your focus is on just developing the application. So the platform is provided by the platform as a service provider. Okay, some of the example is Microsoft Azure and Google App Engine and so on. They provide the platform. They provide the platform, and using that platform, you are developing an application. Once you develop an application, you can provide as a software as a service to the end user. So here, this is only from the developer perspective. This is from the developer perspective. You want to develop an application, but he don't want to worry about that software installation and so on. The required platform is available, and using that platform, he is developing the application. He is going to develop the application. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So I don't really understand the difference between platform and software as a service. Like they're both software, right?
Yes. See,
So
software
what's
is
the
see the software as a service. It is from the end user perspective. So the software is already available. Now, let's say that you want to maybe create one Word document. You want to create a Word document. Are you going to create an are you going to develop any application? You are not developing an application. An application is already available. You are just using that service.
Okay, so platform as a service is like a B2B, business to business type of thing, and software as a service is like
It is
for the end user,
platform as a service is nothing
like
but
consumer.
you can develop an application. Let's say that you can
Okay,
develop an application,
like
maybe by using
dev
a
kits.
Java or Python or maybe .NET based application. It
Okay,
allows you to
okay,
develop an application.
got it. Thank you, sir.
You don't need to worry about how to install C Sharp or Java or Python and the database connectivity. You don't worry about all those things. That will be available as a platform. Your focus is just on the coding. You just focus on the coding and you just develop the application.
So it provides, like, along with the user software, it provides like a set of tools for.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, got
The
it, sir.
required
Thank
tools
you.
are provided. Your focus is on developing. You should know familiar with one of the programming language. Suppose if you are interested in developing an application with the
Okay,
.NET technology, normally that Microsoft Azure provides that application development using .NET. And
okay, sir, got it.
similarly, Google App Engine it supports Java as well as even it supports Python also, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, okay, okay. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay, for the user, okay, user has control over the deployed applications and possibly application hosting environment and configuration. All right, user has only control over the deployment, deployed application, some configuration, and user does not over the control over the this servers, operating systems, storage, and so on. Right, so only user has only control over the platform. Underlying, he has no control over the underlying infrastructure. Let's say that after developing an application, you want to increase the RAM, he cannot increase the RAM. And if you want to increase the number of cores, it cannot be done. All right. Okay. So last one is a infrastructure as a service. Last one is the infrastructure as a service. Now, what is infrastructure? So here, as the name indicates, the complete infrastructure is provided. Complete infrastructure is provided to the user. Now, how exactly this complete infrastructure is provided? Yes, complete infrastructure is provided in the form of a virtual machine. In the form of a virtual machine. So here, how exactly the user is going to access the resource? Right. So there are many cloud providers. Okay. One of the cloud provider is Amazon. Amazon is one of the cloud providers. All right. They are providing different resources in the form of different template. Right. As I mentioned, it may be small, medium, extra large, large, and so on. You are just selecting that template. Okay. That template has a specification. That template has a specification. For example, as I mentioned, the small in the sense it has maybe 4 GB RAM and quad core and this much bandwidth and so on. And if you use that template and that is provided as a virtual machine, that will be provided as a virtual machine, and you can also select the operating system which way you want to run, which you want to run. Now that will be provided as a one machine, that is called as a virtual machine. It is not a physical machine, but when you use that that virtual machine, you have a feeling of you are working on a physical machine. You are working on a physical machine, but actually you are working on the virtual machine. It is just like I'm sure that everybody has you have installed VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox, right? See, in earlier days, maybe 10 years before and all, no, we use whenever we want to have maybe we want to work on both Windows and Linux, we used to have what is called as a dual boot. All right. So we can work on only one operating system at a time. Suppose if I'm working on Windows, if I want to work on Linux, maybe you want to restart and restart, reboot in reboot and use Linux. But nowadays it is not like that, right? So you have, if you have Oracle VirtualBox is installed, right, on top of a Windows machine, and inside Oracle VirtualBox you can install a Linux machine. All right, you can install Linux machine and you can work on the Linux machine. Now here only the difference is that Linux is also installed in your machine itself. Okay, now you just think that Linux is the Linux is it is kind of a virtual machine only. You can think of it as a virtual machine, and which is offered from the cloud, which is offered from the cloud. But when you use that, you think that you are working on a separate machines. Yes. So here resources are distributed as a service. Resources are distributed as a service, and which allows a dynamic scaling. So once you use that resource, based on the requirement, you can scale the resources. Okay, has a variation cost utility pricing model. As I mentioned, okay, there are Amazon has a different pricing model for using the resources that we'll see in the next class. Okay, one is maybe based on the hourly basis and so on. Yes, generally includes multiple users on a single piece of hardware. As I mentioned, suppose if two users, assume that they are having a different virtual machine, right? It may so happen that those two virtual machines are created on a same physical server. Same physical server, the two virtual machines are created, but user thinks that I'm working on a dedicated machine. But there actually what happens, the resources are virtualized. Okay, so the one of the pioneer in providing that infrastructure as a service is Amazon. Maybe next we look at what are the different the deployment model of the cloud. So the different deployment model of this cloud is a public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, and hybrid cloud. Okay, maybe if you look at maybe old textbooks and all, we see only three deployment model, that is public, private, and hybrid cloud. Now one more model is added, that is community cloud. Okay, what do you mean by public cloud? Yes, cloud services are delivered over a network which is open for public usage, So the one of the example is Amazon cloud, right? Amazon is which is a public cloud. So why it is called as a public cloud? Anybody wants to use the cloud the resources, they can use. So that is publicly available. Only thing is that you have to pay for the usage. That is called as a public cloud. Yes, this model is a true representation of a cloud hosting. In this, the service provider renders services and infrastructure to various clients. No distinguishability and control over the location of the infrastructure for uh, customers. In the sense, so here whenever you use that resource, you'll not be knowing from where exactly you are using the resource, right? It is just like a maybe black box. You are getting the resources, but you'll not be knowing from where exactly you are getting the resources. That is a public cloud. As I mentioned, if you say take an example of electricity and water and all, right, you will not be knowing where exactly you are getting those utilities, but you are getting the utilities, you are happy with that, and you just pay for the usage. Okay, that is called as a public cloud. Okay, it is publicly available. Anybody wants to use that resource, he can use that resources. Okay, next private cloud. So now what is the private cloud? Okay, as the name indicates, yes, the private cloud is typically infrastructure used by the single organizations. Single organization, they want to set up their own cloud. If you don't trust, right? If you don't trust the public cloud, right? And suppose if you have maybe sensitive data and all, and if you don't trust maybe public cloud, then maybe organization can have their own setup. So that is called as a private cloud. All right. So now in this case, yes, the private cloud is a typically infrastructure used by the single organization. Such infrastructure may be managed by the organization itself to support various user groups, or it could be managed by the service providers that take care of it, either on-site or off-site. Right? Yes, the infrastructure may be managed in the on-site or off-site. Yes, private clouds are more expensive than the public cloud due to capital expenditure involved in acquiring and maintaining them. So private cloud in the sense you are having your own setup, right? So there is a capital expenditure is involved. Okay, when we go for this private cloud, yes, private clouds are better able to address the security and the privacy concerns of the organization, right? Suppose if you have many maybe sensitive data and all, can't go for the resources offered by the public cloud providers like Amazon and all right? Then maybe you can go for this private cloud. Okay, now next is a hybrid cloud. Okay, as the name indicates, what is hybrid cloud? An hybrid cloud is an organization make use of interconnected private and public cloud infrastructure. It is a mixture of both private and public cloud, private and public cloud. So why do you want this public and private cloud? Both the combination of public and private cloud. As I said, private cloud is nothing but it is managed by the by the private managed by the organization itself. They are having their own cloud. So in that case, you may not be having the required resources, right? Even though you have the enough resource, that may not be enough for maybe for over a period of time, or maybe for some point of time, it may not be useful, right? In that case, you can use both private and public cloud. You can use both private and public cloud. In case if particular time period, okay, the resources of this private cloud is not enough. In that case, maybe you can use the resources of a public cloud. So one example is given. Okay, for example, if an maybe online retailer needs more computing resource to run its web application during holiday seasons, it may attain those resources via public clouds. If you consider an example of maybe online retail applications, all right, maybe initially that application may run in the private cloud. Okay, maybe for this holiday season when they provide more offers and all, no, there may be more load. Whenever there is a more load, and in that case, there may not be enough resources, right, in the private setup. And okay, in that case, they may acquire resources from the public cloud. So which is what is called as a hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nothing but which is a combination of this private and the public cloud. And the new term is coined, that is what is called as a community cloud. So what is a community cloud? Yes, community cloud supports multiple organizations sharing computing resource that are part of a community. Examples include universities cooperating in certain areas of research, or police department within the country or state sharing the uh, computing resources. Access to community cloud environment is typically restricted to the members of the community. Okay, community in the sense that community spread across the state or across the maybe across the region, right? But they may belong to same community. Okay, in that case, they can have a set up maybe community cloud, but those resources can be accessed only by the particular community. Okay, so okay, to summarize this, okay, maybe why we go for cloud, right? So many are going towards this cloud. Is cloud has changed the economics of IT, right? So it enables to move from capex to OPEX. Now, what is CAPEX? Capital expenditure to operational expenditure. So, capital expenditure in a sense, all right, you have to, you suppose if I take an example of starting maybe any organization, all right, you cannot think of an organization without any IT, all right. So, in order to have this IT infrastructures, right, you should have capital expenditure, right? In order to avoid this capital expenditure at the initial stage, all right, you can go for this cloud resources. For that cloud resources, you just pay only for the yes, capital operational expenditure. You don't have the capital expenditure. Yes, the cloud provides the following key cost savings. That is infrastructure cost. You don't need to invest for the infrastructures. So that infrastructure involves what? Maybe place, right? Then buying the infrastructures. Okay. Then how do you manage those infrastructures? And maybe every years, no? Maybe the licensing issue and new versions of the software. You don't need to worry about that management and all. Then last one is the power and energy cost. All right. So those everything will be taken care by the cloud providers, and you just pay for the usage. Yeah, this much is enough for the first class, I think. Maybe in the next lecture we look at one example of maybe Amazon EC2, right? How exactly, what exactly Amazon cloud and how to use the Amazon cloud resources. Okay, and we also look at maybe what are the challenges of this cloud resources from maybe a provider's perspective and client perspectives and so on.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So, will
Okay.
we go over the security concerns with cloud in this course?
Sorry.
Will we go over any security concerns regarding cloud architecture?
Security is not in depth, but you just go about, you just learn what are the different vulnerabilities and all. We don't go in details.
Like a high
But
level view?
yes, yes, because anyhow
Okay.
you will be having a separate. You already have studied uh, one more course related to security, right?
Yeah. I was asking because in like a company that I worked in, they were really scared to implement cloud because of security concerns. So I just wanted to know if we're gonna go over like a
Yeah,
high
that's
level.
what I said. You here we don't go in details about that security because there are other concept. We are mainly focusing on this virtualization. How exactly the resources are virtualized, like a compute virtualization, storage virtualization, and we focus on the resource management techniques
Hmm.
and some tools. Okay, we maybe 4 or 5 hours we spend on this security related issues.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, just now I saw the message that can't hear you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. That was long time
Yes, sir.
back.
Yeah, okay. Okay, maybe this will be taken care in the next class. Because I see message only at the end, right? You just maybe unmute and you can convey your messages if I am not audible. Is it fine?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, and any doubt related to the basics of cloud computing?
No, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So you specified in private cloud that can also be outsourced to a service provider, right?
Yes.
So then how is it more secure than a public cloud? Like then won't people prefer to go for a service provider like Google or Amazon instead?
No, it is even though it is off. What I mentioned. That will be under the control. That will be under the control of organization.
Oh, okay. All right, sir.
That Amazon it is entirely it is a public cloud, right? So here it is maybe under the control of that private. It may be maintained in the organization or it will be under the control of that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, if no other questions, yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.